We've looked into the actual situation the best that we can, and we will tell you where evidence is and where evidence isn't. But there is no smoking gun to whether it did happen or whether it did not happen. This should also be stated ahead of the matter. The Brony fandom account should be publicly disavowed. Whatever the case with Black Griffin, they are a terrible standard bearer, and their behavior has made any form of justice incredibly difficult to achieve. My team and I did analyze the Black Griffin Google document as a part of this investigation. Whatever you believe about Saberspark or Black Griffin, whether or not any was true or not, I believe it was objectively a stupid move to invoke Black Griffin's name in his response video.
This might just be big. Good everyone! Some of you guys following the Saberspark drama might be aware of a YouTuber called TheMysteriousMrEnter making his own video on the whole ordeal since it started back in the beginning of this month. The most I know about him is that he's a part of the art/animation community, but that's really it. If he's a good journalist for this, then I'd have no idea, to be honest. Anywho, he's been working on making a retrospect on this for quite a while, and he wants to drop a quick update on how it's going. And the quick TLDR is that, yeah, this controversy is still in the same place, just messy. I think the war parts in this that were interesting, like what potential evidence he might have gotten from Emily Jones. So let's just take a quick read of it. Oh, so this was the first tweet by TheMysteriousMrEnter where he said, "This should be the final words I have to say about the ILoveKimPossibleALot / Saberspark video before it finally comes out. I want you to make sure there will be no delusions about what the video will be in the end." And when we click on it, right, he gives some ideas, about his research, about what he found out, and his overall thoughts on it. I think the biggest one was point number 1, that's right here, being like, yeah, we have no smoking gun, no severe evidence against, if he did it or not. And he said, so the video about KP/Saberspark is production. Considering I'm going light on editing, it shouldn't take too long to make. Yeah, when you have a video like this, exposing what happened and the fucking people behind it, I don't really mind for editing at all, to be honest. However, I don't want to preempt some things so that everyone is on the same page and no one is disappointed /outraged /whatever by the video itself. Number 1, let's start with the most obvious and most important. I cannot for a fact state whether or not Saberspark did it. We've looked into the actual situation the best that we can, and we will tell you where evidence is and where evidence isn't, but there's no smoking gun to whether it did happen or whether it did not happen. I mean, bro, it's so funny, right? Because back in May when this happened, in the beginning of May, we were all like, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Is the accuser, the victim, anxious about what's going on? But now it makes perfect sense. Because again, for the quick story, right? Amy was told by Emily Jones what happened, and she immediately went to Brony fandom to tell hey, this person, Emily Jones, has a crazy story. We could fucking burn Saberspark and Black Griffin, and that's how it happened. So I'm not surprised now that Emily Jones, is a bit hesitant to come up with a story, because it was never her original intention. I mean, she probably wanted to after being recommended by Brony fandom, but it was probably never her plan originally to expose someone as big as Saberspark. So yeah, it makes no sense. I mean, there might be evidence that, they met up. However, if she doesn't want to show it, that makes perfect sense, because it's never her plan in the beginning. The way things were told make it not impossible, but that does not mean that it happened. It only means that I cannot for a fact state whether or not the accuser is lying. My promise is to let the facts stand where they may, detached from any of the surrounding drama, the video, etc. Point number 2, I've seen Beckett, Copen's video on that matter. Both I and Lacey Bedhead did even talk to him prior to this release, and while I don't agree with everything he said within it, I do think that it holds value going deeply into the histories of the Brony fan account and getting the words of both Michelle Kreber and Claire Collette. Yeah, that was a very good point on the Black Griffin controversy. I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? Because when you understand how invested both fucking Sophie Scruggs and Bonk are in this whole story, it makes perfect sense, because they really, really fucking hate these people like Black Griffin. It's a valuable point of view in said controversy that should not be ignored, regardless of what you believe in the whole thing. Yet the one thing I don't understand, what issue he had with Beckett's video. In my opinion, I think it was pretty good. It was long, right? But with a fucking history like this, it will be long. There's a lot of stories going around and allegations. So yeah, whatever. Number 3, this should also be stated ahead of that matter. The Brony fan account should be publicly disavowed. I mean, I agree, right? Because, that person is fucking insane. Bro, even the most rational user of that account, Sophie, even they're fucking crazy and biased, So we can either give it to a Bonk, No way in hell. Or we give it to Sophie, who's equally as biased against fucking Black Griffin and really wants to tear them down. Whatever the case with Black Griffin, they are a terrible standard bearer, and the behavior was made any form of justice incredibly difficult to achieve. I mean, that's very true. To my understanding, there were like 2 allegations, from other people who went to Bronny Fandorn first. The first one was Destiny, I believe, and the second one was like some other person saying like on Snapchat they were groomed by Black Griffin, and they showed barely any evidence, So like, if you have like some really fucked up shit about a groomer, anybody else, go to anybody else. Well, first off, right, go to the police, in my opinion, and second of all, go to any other account apart from Bronny Fandorn. They will not help you in the slightest. Just saying. We have my team and I did analyze the Black Griffin Google document as a part of this investigation. Oh my god, bro, if he did that, holy respect that, because that document is like 400 pages long. Holy shit. Behaviors were made, and my thoughts on the situation will be addressed on the video itself. This will not be relevant. Saberspark himself did not mention Black Griffin in his own response video. Whatever you believe about Saberspark or Black Griffin, whether or not any of it's true, I believe it was objectively a stupid move to invoke Black Griffin's name in a response video. I mean, I guess somewhat, yeah. But in Saber's video, right, his plan, his intention was to expose how people like Sophie and Bonk, the entire account of Bronny Fandorn, they really fucking hate Black Griffin. And how do you show that? Well, very simply, you show the history of going after him with false allegations. I mean, there are some good points they made, fair enough, but like they were spreading, allegations that were unbased and not even like addressing it at all. Being like, it's allegations, that's it. Not really, giving any substantial evidence past that point, just trying to like slander him. So it does make sense. And furthermore, right, they all hate, Saber because he defends Black Griffin. I think his defense of him is questionable, but like it's so clearly biased. Because apart from that, they have nothing else against him. KP, her one grievance against Saber was a joke that his employee made back like fuck knows when. But aside from that, they have like no actual real reason to go against him, apart from him defending Black Griffin. That's really it. So yeah, I mean, it was bad to invoke it because that character Black Griffin is a bit yeesh, whatever, but like, I get why he brought it up, as to like establish the reason, the motivation behind the Bronny Fandorn, I feel like. Number 5, I was given permission to talk about exactly who the accuser was in the video proper, as well as their own controversies. Phineas, Lazy Bedhead, and I were able to get an interview on them talking about their own controversies. As that interview is 3.5 hours long, it will be uploaded separately. Holy fuck. Okay, when that video comes out, right, I might do like the similar tactic with Cope and Steve, where I won't watch all of it, but I'll find like the real important parts, like the interview, and try to like, summarize it. But if it's very long, and it's hard to like compress, yeah, it'll be hard to cover, I feel like. What do we have? Neither the video or the interview will be monetized. Besides the other concerns, I abhor the type of internet censorship that was forced to arise during the conversations like this. Raped or suicide are offensive and downplay the seriousness of serious situations. I can be honest, right? I have no idea who he's talking about, because any of the person that covered this on YouTube, like Cope and Steve, Gamma, Slug, right? They haven't really censored themselves at all. Maybe people on Twitter, were like using those terms to not get banned or shadow banned, sorry, at all. But like, I don't really care that much. Like, if it's small people, like giving like a bad tweet, yeah, very minor. And then coming close to the end, number 7, the editing of the video will be minimal. I'm more focused on getting the video out soon than creating something visually complex. I mean, we already knew that, in the first point, but whatever. There's 2 more after this. Yes, I'll be talking about KP's video itself and the actions. Wait, will he actually? Oh my god. So it seems like his video will be like, a huge summarization of the whole drama about Black Griffin. Because he got an interview with somebody, he read the whole document on Black Griffin, and now he's covering KP as well. Oh my god, I'm guessing it might be like a good summarization to like the whole story, but like if it's covering that many parts, it's gonna be like a real long video. Also, he said before the interview was 3.5 hours long, but like it might be cut down to make it shorter. But like even then cut down, it might be a lot, I feel like. What do we have? This also includes talking about the Afasiando's Chris situation that sparked the entire video. I will not be talking about DA games, but actually, good idea actually. Bearing a couple of offhand mentions, that situation seems to be at least be better documented. And there are sources for those who are interested. And last one, Lacey Beth's video on Black Griffin was privated, so you can speak on the matter herself. However, I don't want to curb misinformation before it spreads. This was not the result of any legal notice by Black Griffin, as some people seem to be speculating. And there we go. Yeah, that was like the one part of the video that I didn't really remember that much from Cope and Sieve, where like it seems like she was getting like some bad info from Body Fandom, and now they weren't happy with the video itself as like a summary of Black Griffin. But there we go. The one thing I'm worried about is that this guy, Mr. Enter, apparently, allegedly, he's not that good at covering stuff like this. Like, he mainly makes like, animation reviews, but when like he dips his feet into more serious stuff, like these things, right, he fucks it up apparently. I mean, that's from what I saw in people, but again, we should wait to see the whole video. If it's a good coverage, I'll be glad. But like with something like this, right, was like covering the entire history of these fucking people and how it started, it's gonna be a long video, and therefore there might be, there's a very high chance for there to be some errors. He said like the video might come out by the end of the month. I'm not sure. It's around here saying that. So like probably in a couple of days, 2 or 3. So when it does come out, I'll give my thoughts on it, if it was a good coverage and what parts were interesting, and, potentially if he fucked up any parts. We'll see. We'll see when it comes out.